Transparency and accountability of public sector finances was a major highlight of President Muhammadu Buhari's campaign. In keeping with that, a few months into his administration, the president ordered that all monies belonging to the federal government be remitted into the Treasury Single Account, or TSA, domiciled in the CBN. So far, that account has pulled over 2 trillion naira. 1 year on, the twin issues of transparency and accountability in government finances remains almost dominant in a daily discourse. Joining me now to throw light on the subject, particularly on how the economy has fared in light of this policy, is the chairman of the Nigeria Economic Summit Group, Mr. Bukar Kyari. Thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10.
You're welcome.
Let's begin with the 2017 to 2019 fiscal framework just approved by the Federal Executive Council. It targets $42.5 per barrel oil benchmark and production of 2.2 million barrels per day in 2017. How realistic is this?
Well, I think the price sounds like it's a good estimate, because if one looks at the forecasts and the demand for crude oil, the price has been fluctuating on the mid to upper 40s lately, and therefore going in to 2017, $42.5 per barrel appears to be realistic. The challenge for Nigeria is actually the 2.2 million barrels per day. Right now we are, I think we're down to about 1.6 million. That means a lot of effort needs to be done in terms of the militants' incursion and all the vandalization going on. That assumption of 2.2 means that we will have peace in Niger Delta come 2017. And that may not be that realistic in this period of time. But if we double our efforts as a nation, I see ourselves to be more optimistic about that projection. If we go by last year's projections, we are off the production numbers by a mile, even though on the price of the crude oil side, it was more on the upside in terms of the averages so far in 2016. Therefore, 2017 price looks realistic, the volume doesn't.
It is realistic, or it is optimistic?
It's a bit optimistic.
It sounds optimistic.
Right.
Some say that the statement by the CBN that nine of the nation's banks are in default of compliance with the TSA regulation in foreign currency deposits is sending a negative signal about a system-wide stability in the banking sector. What do you think?
My views are two. One is that if a direction or an instruction comes from the regulator, and this had been over a year ago now, and it's a government directive, I believe it covers both naira and dollars, in which case full compliance is what is expected of all banks. And if you do not comply, there might be consequences, and the penalties, unfortunately, is something that the central bank can pull out and put that penalty on. I think when on the naira case of non-compliance, we saw a fraction or a percentage of the amount that were kept while the penalties charged. This time around, it wasn't a multiple of the amount that was kept, rather it was banning them from FX. What is not clear to me is that whether these banks are going to come back to the FX market, when, and what are the modalities. Those details have not come out in the public pronouncements that we have seen so far. And the effect of that links to the availability of dollars in the market. Are they going to be refunding in dollars, or are they going to be refunding in naira? That's another question that needs to be asked. Do those banks have those hard currencies in their books, and how will that impact their own business, and then by extension, of course, the entire banking industry, those, I think, to a certain extent, it's not that large sums of money. If you look at it, it's about 600 billion versus the total deposits in the banking system. So the effect might be less for the system-wide, but the effect is going to be grave for some of those banks that have a larger proportion of the number of the money that they have with them.
We appreciate your comment tonight, Mr. Bukar Kyari. Thank you for joining us on the News at 10.
Welcome.